Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ok Xoomer. I'm your host, Aaron Lichtig, Xometry guy and former Jeopardy champion. And I'm excited to be here today with Mike Pecota. Mike is an expert in 3D printing. Right now, he supports the DoD, the Department of Defense, doing additive manufacturing and is involved with a wide range of other projects. So, Mike, thanks for joining. It's great to have you on.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. Appreciate you being here.
So I see a lot of 3D printers behind you right now in your house there. How did you get your start in 3D printing, and what excites you most about it?
So that's actually a fun conversation. I got my start. I had been looking at 3D printing for a few years. I didn't quite know what it was. I saw it online, and then Netflix released a TV series, 3D Print the Legend. I watched that, and that night I jumped on Amazon and I bought my first 3D printer. It was a PrinterBot Simple made of wood and zip ties. So a few days later, it came in. I built it through the night, which actually got me in trouble in work the next day. But I started to make things, something that had never really been part of anything I could do. I could, glue stuff together. I was an electronics tech at the time in the Navy, supporting H-60 helicopters. And I would be at work and I would have this idea like, man, I could really use this cap, this cover, this item. And I'd go home and be like, wait a second, I can make this now. So I spent a lot of time finding small aspects in my squadrons, and we would do tiny things there. And I got very lucky. I went from being what we call an O-level tech, working on the actual aircraft, deploying. I was out on a frigate, cruiser, destroyer, and carrier during that time. And my last tour, I got stationed, they call it Needs of the Navy. The Navy says, you need to go here. And I went to Pax River, Maryland, which is where the hub of naval aviation engineering is. So at the time, there was a wonderful human being inside of the FRC. Her name was Elizabeth McMichael. And she was trying to work on a project to bridge the gap between sailors and engineers. Because honestly, it is so separated right now. The people who have the problems don't ever really get to communicate with the people who could provide solutions. So the group set aside trying to fix that. And we went to a few design challenges where senior leadership at the time, the big one was Rear Admiral Cullum. We did a Project Athena event, and he sponsored it and said, hey, if somebody has an idea to make it better, pitch to me. So I actually ended up winning that event back in 2015, and it was for a 3D printed item for a cap or a plug that had the potential cost savings of millions of dollars around the fleet because it saved hours of maintenance each day. So that idea for, hey, a 3D printed object can be cheap, can be affordable, and can be quick and provide solutions started this chain of events. And through that now, I have been supporting many teams, many projects like that. And I left the Navy in 2018 to do it full time. So I now help in a lot of ways take ideas from the fleet or needs here on from what we see in our community, bring those in. And what's really cool about what we do is there's a formal pipeline. Like there is a way to get a solution quickly instead of going through large multi-year contractual things that cost millions of dollars. Hey, we have a need in the DoD. How do we reach out to OEM? How do we start contracts? And then how do we get something into the supply chain? This is something that we are empowering organic manufacturing within the branches, within the services. And we're supporting that. So I'm really, really passionate about it. I love it. I've transitioned full time so that I get to, play with what I love and support the Navy that I was with for 11 years. And at the same time, advance additive manufacturing. So I've since then taken courses formally at MIT, Penn State, done certifications with ASME, ASTM. AM has truly become my job, my passion, and my hobby all in one for the annoyance of my wife and others.
Awesome. Now, you've mentioned that additive manufacturing has really started to take off within certain parts of the DoD, and especially within the Marines.
Yeah. So, the love-hate relationship between the Navy and the Marines is wonderful. So this is a great opportunity where I get to boast about my brethren. The Marine Corps have done from my perspective, the most amazing thing several years ago. I think it was back in 2015. The commandant came down and provided an overarching instruction, said, hey, if you are a Marine leader, if you are a commanding officer, I authorize you to purchase and use a 3D printer. That is inspiring and powerful on so many ways. Now you have a message that says, I can, and now you got the backing that says my internal people want to, I have justification, this is how I support them. Normally, something like that would have gone through years of assessment with the engineering branches. Hey, how are we going to support this initiative? Whose job is it going to be? What color of money are we going to throw at it? What machines are they going to get? How do we get it into the supply? Years of work. And especially now that I've been helping see the other side, that is years of work and man hours and so much money. So this was an organic thing they did. And because of that, they said, okay, we're going to empower Marines at all levels to have access to this technology. It's just another tool in the tool shop. It's no big deal, but make sure before you do anything impactful, you need to contact the right resources and say, hey, if I'm going to put this on aircraft, I'm going to put it on this, that, and the third, you contact the right people to make sure you have the permissions to do so. But because of that now, there have been hundreds, if not thousands of ideas that have come up. You've now seen, even if they're not AM solutions, now the people who are in this organization who can provide a solution know about the problem. Oftentimes we'll get requests for something that, hey, maybe it shouldn't be, 3D printed. Maybe there should be another mechanism, but 3D printing might be the only tool they have on site. So if they're out in, wherever, and there's some really good examples we can talk about as the conversation progresses that are available on Google, public access, everyone knows about it. But sometimes AM isn't the right solution, but it is the only solution at that time for speed. And so we make things that honestly wouldn't make sense for a lot of people, but make sense in that moment. And that has been great. And if that transitions down the line, says, hey, this isn't a great AM candidate. We got you through your one use case. We got you moving, mission forward, you're done. Now we can take that idea and say, hey, this really should be traditionally manufactured. We throw it to and talk to like the program office who controls that a platform or something like that. Or we take it to another group. We say, hey, we had a need, we fixed the need. Let's show you this. So instead of going through all of those chains, taking months to get to those people, we go right to the top and say, we see you have a problem. We did a temporary solution. We worked with you on it. Now you should probably transition this and fix it in a more formal way.
Nice. And so in January, the larger DoD put out an additive manufacturing guidance. What is the significance of that?
So that's a lot of fun. That document from inside it was a long time coming. But what this has really provided everybody, AM is so, in my opinion, once again, stovepiped inside of such a large community. The Department of Defense is massive. Even a section like the Navy or subgroups in the Navy are massive entities in themselves that it's hard to get a lot of collective momentum going. Every branch says additive manufacturing is the future, and we need to be agile and adapt now to overcome, adversaries that might be doing so yesterday. And there's plenty of articles. We know they are. So every branch is doing it. Everyone's trying to do it in their own way, and they're throwing different ideas, different people, different groups. Even here on the local base that I see, I know of at least 5-6 different groups that are trying to do it independently. It's like, no, we need to align. You shouldn't be reinventing the wheel. I shouldn't be reinventing the wheel. Tell me how you're integrating with your IT system so that I can map the same infrastructure. Tell me how you're getting through, material hurdles. Let's all work together and create a system that advances AM and not just an individual group. So that overarching document that was put out, that once again, anybody can look. You could look for the DoD Additive Manufacturing Guidance. It was, as you said, came out in January. It gives all of these groups something to align to. So, hey, we're doing this project, we're doing that project. Now we know the bigger picture. We have a direction to put all of this energy and effort, and it's bringing people closer together. But at the same time, as we start to do these projects, AM is difficult. AM in the government is difficult. Everything aligns to funding, unfortunately. So if you receive a little bit of funding to do one effort, it might not have been tailored towards your original goal. Like, I wanted to go this way, but I was funded to go this way. With this document, we're seeing the ability to shift goals, to shift the alignment, and hopefully to redirect funding so that we can all progress AM and not accomplish these 1, 2, 3 projects.
Gotcha. Now, outside of your day-to-day work supporting the DoD, you're involved with a couple of really interesting organizations, and the first one is the Defense Entrepreneurs Forum. Can you tell the audience some more about what that is and how that works?
Yeah, so I'm super passionate about DEF. As you mentioned, it's the Defense Entrepreneurs Forum, def.org. It is honestly just a collection of awesome people trying to do awesome things. It is so cool that there's no second ideas, there's no other companies. It is a nonprofit where for years people in the innovation sector trying to push new concepts and ideas in the DoD, you hit roadblocks. You don't know who to go, you don't know who to talk to. And DEF is one of the organizations, as of many, that you can go to and ask a question. You could be anybody in the DoD, out of the DoD. You could be an OEM, anybody who wants to support the Department of Defense. This is a platform. You can join the emails. We have a very robust Slack environment with thousands and thousands of people and all these channels. And you can say, hey, I don't know anything about cybersecurity policy across the different agencies. Jump in there. You will meet people. I have met so many wonderful people because of that platform that I try to share. So now I volunteer with them formally. I'm part of the communications team. I help with some like the aligning directives. I help with getting the podcast. We've tried our own podcast a few times, and really trying to capture these micro events and share them with a larger community. We're hosting one as we speak right now, where we've partnered with Google. So Google is talking on their efforts to support the Department of Defense. We're all having these things, and then we share that information with everybody. And people see, hey, wait, I see what you're doing here. I'm trying to do it too. And it's really advancing all of these projects collectively together. And it is just a terrific organization. And I love it. I've been part of DEF now for, I don't know, 7 years.
Oh, awesome. Now, I've also seen you recently on Clubhouse, or I guess not seen you, or heard you, because it's an audio-based platform. You're doing a lot of good work there too.
Yeah, thanks. So Clubhouse was a great opportunity. Jesus. Hi, puppy. Glad we're editing this. So Clubhouse, it was a great opportunity. A friend of mine, a neighbor, introduced it to me. Said, Mike, you know, people are following their passions. You might enjoy this app. I had only gotten an iPhone a few months before. I was actually an Android user for almost 10 years. And so because of that introduction, I saw what Clubhouse is. I started hosting rooms all by myself. Hey, chat with me about 3D printing. Let's talk additive. And they just got some traction. We had some really powerful conversations with fun people. And through that, there's some other efforts. People got connected. Janet Carr, who's a great friend of mine over at Link 3D, she kind of helped broach the topic with a few. And now we created a group, or what in Clubhouse is called a club. So we have a club called Build Volume now, where we focus on talking about not just additive, but primarily additive, because that's where all of our interests lie, but advancing manufacturing. And it's so much fun to just jump into an app. I do it every night, almost while I'm doing the dishes. You know, you're doing something else with your hands, you're busy, and you could talk to people live in person that you've either never met, never thought about meeting, but you share an idea, a passion about something. And additive is one example, but there are so many others. But we took that idea and the concept of Build Volume as a group, and we went, Clubhouse is good and all. Let's collectively get people together better between the meetings. So we have now a Slack environment. Yeah, I built it on the stuff I see in DEF. For between the calls, we have multiple channels where you can ask questions, get to know people, give yourself an introduction. And what's great about that is we have not seen, and now I think we have over 100 users that are just casually entering the space and talking. We have not seen one person be to self-promoting, just be annoying that, hey, they're just a salesman. It's honestly great people in the AM community trying to help each other. No one's concerned about anything else. Ask a question, get an answer. It covers makers, industry, Department of Defense applications. It is just a collection of people that trying to do good in this community and advancing. So we're starting on all social media platforms, but we're kind of just making it up as we all go along. Like the whose line is it anyway? It's all made up and the points don't matter. It's kind of a philosophy. We're making pathways with the things we can, but if somebody volunteers, we try something new. But Build Volume as a group is just that, trying to make good things happen.
Excellent. And if you are on Clubhouse, check out Build Volume, join the club. It's a fun and very open environment. Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us on OK Zoomer today.
Yeah, I appreciate the time. Happy to talk anytime. Thank you for doing what you're doing. I love hearing new things from people advancing additive. This is a terrific platform, and keep it up.
Well, thank you. And everybody, thanks for watching. We'll be back in a couple days with another episode of OK Zoomer.
Ciao.